Okay, so we're going to go over the best formation to deal with pressure. Now, to be honest, I've been using this since the day the game came out, but I just kind of forgot about it. And the reason why is because in terms of pressure, the best way sometimes to counter pressure is by using pressure yourself against your opponent. And it's a 4-3-3, but it's a variation of the 4-3-3 that's so important. There's a couple of things you want to know for pressing. First of all, you should not be using any of these. You should just be using balance, especially not drop back. Against the pressure, you should not be doing that. Otherwise, your defensive line will be so far back compared to the rest of your team. Now, for your defensive width, you put this all the way down to 35. Now, in general 4-3-3 formations, typically speaking, players, they sit back in the middle with three midfielders, and the left mid and right mid, or left wing, right wing, they come back and they help solidify the midfield. The thing is, it's a wide formation naturally because they have wingers. So you're just making the formation a bit more narrow, but they're still wide enough to defend the wing areas. Now, depth is has to be below 45. Now, there's a couple of things for this. When your depth's above 45, your team, the best way I can put it, just start applying a bit of pressure off the ball, positional pressure. So maybe they'll go a bit more forward, a bit more aggressive. You want to be a bit more passive. That way, when the ball comes towards you, if you want to move a play and be aggressive yourself, you can do. Don't let AI do it for you. So when you turn this from 45 to 44, you get rid of that. Now, personally speaking, I always go 39 is always my good godsend in terms of avoiding pressure. And don't forget, this is just defensive width. When you have the ball in your possession, this doesn't mean anything. This is just for when you have the ball, when your opponent has the ball and you're out of possession. When you're in possession, you want to be as wide as possible so you can distribute the ball to either the wings. You can use hug the sidelines, you can use whatever. So that is why you want to use offensive width of 70. Now don't forget, this is a formation to close the game out, similar to a 4-2-3-1, but you're going to be lacking the attack. That's what's very, very important. Now slow build-up play is definitely the way to go. When you're under pressure, what happens is, what you don't realize psychologically speaking is, when you have the ball and players are running towards you, you feel more pressure on the ball and you feel like you want to play the ball quicker into different areas. You don't want that to happen. The more quicker you play, the more mistakes you'll make. Slow build-up play will also help you because more players will come closer to you. You'll have more passing options. Not everyone's going to be running forward, and it will give you more time on the ball. That's for the first 2/3. Equally, in the final third, we've gone with possession. Now, possession is one tactic you very rarely see me use because, to be completely candid, it's probably worse than balanced. But for holding out the ball, now when you're up against pressure, what's the best way to force your opponent to not press? Is to hold the ball in this region over here. Because what happens is, most people, when you're defending, you're going to be in a panic state. So if you have the ball, for example, here, and you're passing the ball like here outside the box, the centimeters will realistically be like here. What happens is your opponent starts panicking, because if your opponent starts over pressing now, then you can easily score a goal and you can actually pass the ball around. So the safest place to pass the ball around is to let your opponent sit back, and the way you do that is by going down the wing first. Let your opponent go to a drop back state and then manipulate the ball around. Possession is going to make players come towards you. It's going to give you passing options. Granted, you need to use the L1 trigger to push players going forward, because you need to have that balance. You can't have everyone coming towards you, because don't forget, if you want to create space, remember, as I always said to you, to create space, you push a player away from you. If you bring a player close, your opponent's going to come with that player and thus invite more pressure as a whole. Players in the box, we've gone with 3. We don't want to commit anyone. We're trying to close out the game against pressure. And corners and free kicks on 2. So which formation am I talking about here? Is the 4-3-3 third variation. And why I wanted to mention this variation is, there's a couple of things people don't realize. This one only has 1 CDM. This one has 1 CDM as well. This one has centre mids, is very attacking. This one has 2 CDMs and a reserved centre mid that can even make a back 5 when you are actually attacking. I'll go over that in a second. Now, there is some other formations like this one. This is holding 3 centre mids. There's no CDMs. And people said to me, well, no, what about the 4-5-1? I'm talking about the 4-5-1, which is technically it's a 4-3-3 because you've got 3 midfielders and then you got the left mid and right mid. This is also good, or even the 4-1-4-1. But the thing is, it only has 1 CDM. So this is the best defensive formation inside the game. It's the 4-3-3 third variation. And what's important here to note is, you can actually put one of the centre mids on drop between defenders, but not in the game in the companion app. That's what's important. It's in the companion app. So, in fact, if I should upload this to my Patreon, and by the way, if you want to join my Patreon, so it's my FC School Series. If you don't get better after 1 month, patreon.com/NoGuides. If you don't get better after 1 month, we refund your money. So No Guides guarantee. Links down below in the description. If you want to improve your gameplay, guaranteed improvement, or you get your money back. That is how sure we are. But I mentioned this early on that year in the year. They haven't fixed it yet. But you can actually put the drop between defenders attacking support instruction on the companion app. So you have to get your phone. You have to get your phone and you have to go on the companion app and then you got to do it. Now, I don't know if it's been fixed or not. I have actually no idea, but on the game, it hasn't been fixed. So the left mid and right mid are both of them on comeback and offense and getting behind. Getting behind because when you get the ball with your center mids, you want to lob the ball, if you're under pressure, extreme lob cases, down the wing. If you can, use a precision lob pass with the R1 plus square because you can get the ball exactly near the corner flag. Because if you do a lob power, this is the secret. If you do a lob power pass, full power, the ball doesn't reach the corner flag. You've tried this before. It just goes in your opponent's halfway. But with precision lob pass, you can have the ball to go further along and manually aim that pass. In fact, if you're part of the Patreon series, there's a video on that where I explain to you how you can do the unstoppable, undefendable ball as well. So remember that, the R1 plus square, the precision lob pass. So that's why they got there as wide as possible, got them unbalanced. I didn't put them on center edge of the box because sometimes you want some runners going in. I'll explain to you why in a second. Come back in defense, pretty self-explanatory, so you don't get doubled up. You've got 2 left mid and right mids, and so 2 versus 2 on both either side. Now the striker stay central, come back in defense, false 9. False 9 is good. What I would say is, if you are going to be using chance creation on balanced, use false 9. If you have possession, then use target player. The reason why target play I like it, they're not going to be going inside the box and going for headers. How target players work is they just effectively stand still. Okay, and why this is important is when you're trying to, let's say you're getting pressured, okay, and you have the ball with your center mid. If you're getting pressured, you want to pass the ball. You don't want sometimes your striker running in behind because you want to pass the ball to the feet so then the player can take a turn or take a touch away safely. So that is why I use target player. Stay central so that players always in the middle and come back in offense. Are they going to come back and make another 4th center mid? No, it doesn't work like that. They'll just sit a little bit. This is where stay forward is. This is balanced, and this is come back in offense. So it's going to sit as a striker still, but just in front of the center mid, more like a center forward. So it's not going to be next to center mid, but it'll be a bit lower back, just by kind of like a center forward role, second striker. Center mid on stay back, central box cover center. If you've got the option to do drop between defenders, I'm not too sure if on the PC and console and Xbox version. I'm doing this on PlayStation, but you may have that option. I'm not sure if it's fixed there. Otherwise, you can use drop between defenders on a companion app. This will make a back 5 when you have possession of the ball, and that way, if you lose if you lose the ball, you still got a back 5 in shape. You see that? So even though you might have your back 5 going forward, if you lose the ball, then your back 5 can basically goes back into 3 midfielders, but at least during that time you got an extra player. So maybe play a centre mid here, not someone like Babajide. But you can also use stay back, cover centre. Both CDMs, cut passing, lane step are attacking, and cover centre for both of them. They sit much more deeper. It's fantastic because they sit so far back. And compared to the 4-2-3-1, your cam is closer to your centre mids. So with 3 players, you can actually outnumber almost every single formation inside the game. If you're now to use the goalkeeper and you break the first line of defense, you're going to have 3 players, at least one of them is going to be free. Even against constant pressure, you're still going to have the ability to make one-touch passes and pass the ball. So that is why it works so well, because not only the CDM's close to the back 4, but the centre mid is close to the CDMs, and it's also somewhat close to the striker. So you've got that distribution point. So it's that centre mid role is basically very important. Someone like a Valverde would be perfect. There's someone that can defend and do a bit of everything. For the left back and right back, we've got them both on stay back and overlap. I would not recommend any conservative interceptions. If you want to, you can use conservative interception on your left back and right back. And the goalkeeper, I never put, because you see, I would rather go like this. Like, I'd rather go caution with crosses and balance, because sometimes goalkeepers, they come out, they don't always win their header. And sometimes when they step out, they get out of position, the header can come past you and you can concede. So that's just something to mention and bear in mind. But that would be the ultra defensive formation. I'd probably say the best for defensive formation, par if you ignore the 5 backs, etc., etc., because this one could technically be a 5 back on the pro scene with drop between defenders. So technically, I don't know if this could actually break the stipulate. I don't think anyone's ever tried it, but maybe this could actually work on even on the pro scene, because it still makes a back 5, but it has to be done through the companion app. So I don't know how that's going to work, because you can't do it at the events. But that's the formation I'm using to counter the press. Yeah, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Don't forget, if you want to get better FC income from my Patreon series, patreon.com/NoGuys, link down in the description. Don't get better for 1 month. We will refund your money. That's a No Guys guarantee. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.